Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of the Monthly Comic Roundup. I'm Sid Part 2, aka Ian. Joining me today is...
Simeon the Vacuumator Scott. How's it going, everyone?
Oh, crap. Okay, there we go. I had my headphones on and I got the stream open in the other window so I could hear myself. Yay. So yeah, we got the roundup to do this month. Month of February, a bit shorter. So it feels like we were just here doing this crap for January.
Yeah, bit shorter, bit duller. I'll admit it wasn't the best month for me, but that's kind of February in general every year. You know, January you get that big rush of it's a new year, a lot of fun, exciting stuff going on, and then you get to February and either you kept all that new shit you implemented in your life and it's become just commonplace, or you're back to your old ways.
How cheery. Alrighty. Well, you're the one that keeps track of this for us, so who's starting us out this week?
This month, it is my turn to go first, and I'm going to start us off by talking about WWE number 25. This is continuing on with Dennis Hopeless's The Phenomenal One arc detailing AJ Styles' title reign, which I talked about quite a bit last month during my honorable mention. This is, again, just another really solid issue, taking one of the highlights of his title run and adding a lot to that feud that makes it work in a way that non-wrestling fans can get into. This was his feud with Samoa Joe, which got very deep and personal, and Joe making a lot of accusations about whether AJ's time was really best spent in the ring because he's a father. He has a family he should be looking out for, yet he's on the road all the time. And this reveals that all of that was actually his wife behind the scenes manipulating Joe to say those things to get him more fired up so that he would have a better match. And that's a pretty cool angle to play with a wrestler. I enjoyed it quite a bit. I did find it weird that they never actually showed AJ Styles' wife's face in this. I wonder if it's just because she's not signed with WWE, so they don't have the rights to use her likeness or anything. But other than that, pretty solid issue. I liked it.
Oh, cool. So nice little simple, quick story kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm not gonna do that. My pick for the beginning of the month is Female Furies number 1.
Okay.
I remember when you brought up on the news portion of the show a couple months back that this book was getting announced, and that was when Mr. Miracle was still going, and you're like, oh, well, you like New God stuff, so I bet you like this. And I was like, I mean, maybe. I don't know anything about it, and like it's not like I'm super into the Female Furies or anything. But I'll usually give just about anything a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And wow, I thought this was really, really fascinating. It really surprised me, and I am adding it to my poll. It's 6-issue miniseries, and it's kind of if Mr. Miracle was a comic about dealing with anxiety, depression, and the long-term effects of mental illness, Female Furies is going to be a comic about the Me Too movement. And I find that exceptionally interesting. Now, I will say something that did strike me as I was reading it is I feel it put characters into roles for the sake of the narrative, the metaphor the story is going for. Yeah, more than it did for the sake of the characters themselves.
Did you read my written review for this?
No, I did not.
So it's very interesting how it went down with this book, because I was very much kind of excited and intrigued by its announcement, and you seemed very much kind of like, yeah, okay, that's a thing. And it seems like we've come out on complete opposite ends with it, where I'll say, I don't hate this book. I think it's good. I like the fact that we're covering this topic with major comic book characters. Well, not major, they're more like sort of lower mid-tier list characters.
I'd say they're like high B characters.
Yeah. But I like the fact that we're covering it with comic book characters that are known, and it's not being, this topic isn't being relegated to just indie books. But I felt like this was the wrong set of characters to do this with. Like, I kept reading this, and I got the sense that it was going out of its way to be like, things are shitty for these specific people. And I don't know about you, Ian, but I've always had this idea in my head that Apocalypse is just shitty for everyone except Darkseid. Like, even the people who are his right-hand men are in constant fear of getting their shit wrecked.
Oh, no, definitely. For me, the kind of the perfect Darkseid scene comes straight out of Superman the Animated Series, where Superman just kicks his fucking ass because he's on a rage bender and does like the ultimately like satisfying thing that you see done with the Tyrant character a lot, where he throws him to his own people. Like, and it's not like that's exclusive to Darkseid or something, or even to people. Like, I think of the spoilers. I think of the scene in Game of Thrones where we have, what's his name, Remy, the bastard, fed to his own dogs that he starved because he wanted to make them more ferocious. And like so Superman throws Darkseid to his own people, and the implication is that his own people will finish the job that Superman won't do. And even though these people are clearly living like slaves, they pick Darkseid up and take him back into his palace to recover. And he stops him for a moment, he just puts up his hand, and Superman's just looking at this dumbfounded, and he goes, "I am many things, Kal-El, but here I am God." And that is just like the most tragically warped image of Apocalypse you can ever get. It's the fascistic tyrant state of evil that is completely successful. So I definitely agree. If you ask me, is this an interpretation of Darkseid or really any of these characters that I would recommend to people if they want a good idea of who Darkseid is, should they read this? And I would say no. But I do think it's a perfectly fair thing to do, especially with comic book characters, to adjust them as needed to the story you're telling. Because just because the take might not be true to who the character has been shown to be, a take like this can radically change the way a character is presented, for better or worse. I think that we've seen that happen with comic book characters for years, and sometimes it works out well, sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it's a mixed bag. And my prime example for that is Frank Miller received angry letters from Batman writers of the past for killing their character when he did Dark Knight Returns. Because that book has like done a huge influence on who Batman was for like 20 years, to the point where you have like Grant Morrison having to reinterpret the character or get the character more stable. And this, I certainly wouldn't want this to be the take on Darkseid going forward, but I think it works within the context of the story being told here.
That's a fair assessment, and I'm not going to begrudge anyone for liking the book. I just say like the character inconsistencies compared to earlier works bothered me enough that I don't feel like I'm going to keep up with it.
I think that's fair too. I can get that of like, it might be a good story, but that's just not that character to me. I can understand that. Yeah. The thing that there are a couple other things about this that really, really impressed me. One of them was the shifting art style, because like we open. There's my camera. That's why I had it set up this way. I'm stupid. Sorry, hold on. I'm shuffling around windows here. Oh, come on, give me the thing. Okay, there we go. So like we have this art style that's, it's pretty typical modern comic book art style for the scene set in the present, and then you turn the page and we've got this flashback scene, and it's very Kirby inspired. I was super impressed by that. I thought that was a really cool choice artistically.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
And then the other like story element here that I really liked was how one of the Furies, and her name escapes me for the moment. I think she's an original character created for this. I really should have looked into that, but I just didn't.
The only Furies whose names I can ever remember are Barda and Lashina.
It's Lashina, Barda, Stampa, Mad Harriet, and what's Desaad's sister's name? Her I can't remember either. So yeah, they're reasonably iconic, I think. But this other character, I think she might have been created just for this, but she's like getting these quote unquote training sessions with one of Darkseid's generals, and he's just using it as a excuse to grope her and stuff. Mm-hmm. But because she's not being open about that, the other Furies are thinking that she's like hoarding all the good training, and she's letting them think that because that's better than letting them go through what she's going through. I thought that was incredibly impressive and complex relationship to communicate there. I thought that was really, really good moment. In any case, I am really excited to keep reading the book. Really, really impressed me. Great single issue. Or starting issue, I should say. All right. What do you got next for us, sir?
All right. So my pick for week 2, this is going to be a very unsurprising month for me. Winter Soldier number 3. Oh my God, this book is just knocking it out of the park, doing a very interesting tale about that pretty much anyone in a tough situation in life can relate to. Like, I'll just straight up say, if you're a recovering addict, you can relate to this. If you struggle with any kind of mental illness, you can relate to this. If you're a person who has ever done anything you regret in your life, you can relate to this. There's just some really kind of touching and powerful scenes of the kid RJ in therapy, and him going around in one scene with Bucky doing his grocery shopping, and Bucky kind of constantly being like, "Are you sure there's nothing you want? Is there anything I can do for you?" And the kid just being like, no, stop asking me, I'm fine, when he's clearly not. And Bucky actually ends up taking him on a mission to fight the Spot of all people. The Spot is in this comic, and I guess the Spot is now just one of those weirdly creepy and dark villains that shows up in things. So thank you for that, Mark.
It is a very creepy idea for a character, isn't it? That almost feels like a manga character to a point.
Yeah.
It's just that it's just a little too weird for American comics.
But the thing that really got me is there's a moment at the end of the issue where RJ kind of blows up at Bucky because earlier in the issue he went and looked into something regarding Bucky, and he's kind of been tense around him the whole time, and we're wondering what it is he found out. And there's a moment after RJ ends up saving the day and helping Bucky complete this mission, and he's just like, "Thank you, the guy I was saving and I both owe you." And RJ just goes, "You're a liar." What? You want me to trust you, but you're lying to me. You're lying to Seth. You said we could get better like you, that we could start over, our lives would become perfect like yours. I never said that, but that's what this is about, right? Some perfect, noble life you're trying to create, like something from a movie where you get to be the quote-unquote savior. That's not fair. All I'm trying to do is show people that they can live a happier life but that's the lie, because they can't, because you can't. I read your journal. I know about the dreams you have. I know you're still angry. I know you haven't gotten over what happened to you, the things you did. You're telling people they can move on, that they can start over, telling us we can change, be whatever we want to be, but you yourself can't. You want me to trust you? Then tell me the truth. Why are you really doing all this? What do you get out of it? Bucky just says, people tell me I've redeemed myself. And some days I think that's the truth. Other days I don't. Helping people, it helps me to help to feel worthwhile again. And maybe, hopefully, it'll make those days where I really do feel like I've turned a corner not be so rare. God damn, that got me in a place. That is anyone who struggle with any kind of personal issues right there in a sentence, because there is shit in this life that can just haunt you. And you read, if you're somebody who consumes a lot of superhero media, or indeed a lot of any kind of nerd media, there's very much this message of things always get better. You can always push through it. Everything will always turn out all right. And the truth is, real life isn't like that. It's hard. It's a process. Every day is something new you have to struggle with, combined with a billion old things you have to kind of keep off your back. And to see a comic actually come out and acknowledge that was fucking huge. I absolutely adored that a book did that, and puts this on a high shelf for me.
Nice. Yeah, that really makes me kind of want to go pick that up. You were talking about it like last week or last time too, I thought, and you were really impressed by the kind of like background setup for the sidekick character or mentee character, and like just that moment right there. Wow, yeah, I kind of might have to pick up the first volume of this in trade. Start reading me some Bucky.
Well, it's a 4 or 5 issue mini, so it should definitely be a quick and easy pickup once the trade's out.
Oh, cool. Alrighty. My second pick is a Black Hammer special about Cthulhu.
Excuse me?
I really want people to get a good look at the cover, because I absolutely love the cover for this. So in the world of Black Hammer, we got a mini series called Sherlock, Frankenstein, and the Legion of Evil. And it was like, so in the world of Black Hammer, what happened was the heroes that we follow in the main book are trapped on a farm in this weird dimension where no one has ever heard of the town they're from or them as superheroes. But they got there because they were fighting like some giant cosmic threat called Anti-God. Imagine like if Darkseid and Galactus fucked and had a hideous baby. And then they disappeared, and about halfway through the first volume, the daughter of the hero Black Hammer shows up, and Sherlock, Frankenstein, the Legion of Evil was about how she got there, like what she was doing to get there. And what she did is start like interviewing all of the old supervillains that haven't been active since the superheroes disappeared, since the Anti-God fight. And she went and she found Cthulhu, L-O-U. Like, hey, Lou, how's it going? Who's like a plumber that fell down the sewer and got possessed by Cthulhu. And he had a daughter named Louise. So Cthulhu's design is actually pretty funny. It's just a guy with an octopus head. As you do. But then he has a daughter named Louise, and she's, just this little girl with an octopus head. I like her a little more, though, because she's got, like, the green skin and stuff, so she looks even a bit weirder and whatnot. And this is just a one-shot.
I thought you would show me on this series. I never thought Lolly Cthulhu would be one of those things.
Yeah. So she's like this little girl, and you just see her like walking to school. She gets all these weird looks. You see her home life is really, really destructive, very toxic home life. And then you see her in school, and she's just getting bullied. They taped a drawing of an octopus to her locker, and wrote Luis's boyfriend. And the girls that did it are sitting there and they're like, "What's the matter, Squid Tits? Don't like your new fuck buddy we found you?" And then, yeah. And then it gets harsher. What are you going to do about it, Octopussy? And it's like really, really like rough bullying. But then it's got this, very Lovecraftian horror element to it where every night that Luis goes to sleep, she hears her grandfather calling to her. And she's always run away from it, but because she's getting older and she's getting bullied and she's getting, abused by her father, this guy used to be a supervillain. She's getting abused by her father and all this stuff. She decides to finally give up and go to her grandfather and ask to be made normal. She just wants to look like everybody else. And as her grandfather accepts, under the condition that she feed him souls. So she runs. At first, she rejects it, but then she ultimately just decides, fine, I'll do it. How many do I have to kill? And she goes to school the next day, and is continuing to get picked on. But everyone that picks on her, she just gives them this look. And we get this pretty intense page that like really, I gotta prepare people for. So one of the things I really like in different media is the trope of the bully getting their comeuppance. That's always a fun trope that I quite enjoy, when the bully did something to make him an asshole and then someone comes and they get a lot of comeuppance for it. This is where you begin to go a step too far, and it starts to get a little shocking, little horrific. I'm particularly shocked by the kid getting the two kids getting stabbed. The kid getting crushed to death.
I love how the one in the lower corner is just like lightly jogging away.
Yeah. So Luis kills people in her school for her grandfather. Get this image of her just walking out of the school. Looks like she pretty much got everybody. And then she goes to her grandfather and says, "Okay, now make me normal. Make me just like everyone else." And he does. So he consumes her, and it's like looking like maybe it's going to be some kind of ironic fate of you're just like everyone else because everyone else is going to be dead soon or something like that. But no, he lives up to his word. Sends her to a place where she looks just like everyone else.
Oh, Henry.
Yeah, right? I really liked that. I thought it was a really, really interesting single issue. Just really, really blew me away. I love, I explained some of the context of Black Hammer, but you don't really need to know it. It's just, it's kind of like a messed up little world, and weird comic book shit happens in it.
So has all of Black Hammer's stuff been written by the same people, or is it like, does Dark Horse full on have their own superhero universe now?
I'm pretty sure it's all Jeff Lemire.
Oh wow!
There's at least one spin-off series I haven't read. I think it's actually advertised in the back here. Real quick. Never mind. No, it's not advertised in the back. There's the Sherlock Frankenstein and the Legion of Evil spin-off series, and then there's something else with like a scientist kind of thing. That one I haven't read. I need to pick that up in trade. I don't know. I was a little down on how long.
More and more Black Hammer stuff getting solicited, and it's like, I gotta jump on this, or eventually it's gonna become like fucking Walking Dead or One Piece.
Oh yeah, I can see it. But anyway, really, really good single issue. If you're curious, just read this. I mean, it doesn't really require much other context. I swear.
I might have to. It seems interesting.
Yeah. I was surprised I didn't see it like solicited anywhere. I just walked into my shop. I was looking at all the new books, and I saw Black Hammer. I'm like, oh shit! All right, what do you got for us, sir?
All right, so my pick for week 3, I believe this is GoBots number 4. So this book has gotten really interesting because in the beginning, you guys know, I was super into this. I was like, wow, this is way better than it has any right to be. This is such an interesting like homage to 80s tie-in comics, but it's also really good hard sci-fi. Then issue 3 came out. And issue 3, they time jumped and they changed style a little bit, and I wasn't sure what was going on. I didn't know what to make of it. Issue 4, though, the series has just completely recontextualized it into it's off the rails, but it's beautiful. So what is going on is, so I talked about the first 2 issues were sort of about this man-made machine uprising, and we're slaves. We're gonna take this world back. We're now in that world, but like 100 years later. This is basically Planet of the GoBots instead of Planet of the Apes. And it's just really crazy seeing what has become of some of our characters, what the villains are doing now. I mean, fucking Psykill has just a bowl of humans he eats out of, like Jabba the Hutt. That's insane. And there's a group of astronauts who had just left Earth when all of this was started. Again, Planet of the Apes. And they're back trying to figure out what's going on, if they can possibly save anything. We find out that one of the free people who was set up to be our main character became like the leader of the resistance and has died by the time we get to this book, or this issue rather. And oh yeah, the friendly kid appeal character Scooter, who was very prominent in the first couple issues. Dude got lobotomized during a fight. And so now he's just running around like a giant child. And Turbo, the other sort of main character, he's very pissed off at both sides of GoBots, and he's like, this is all everyone's fault. Well, we should have tried to work with the humans instead of rebelling against them. And there's a moment where Scooter gets in danger, runs off, and he's like, we're going to have to go save Scooter from this big evil thing that's been roaming the planet since the revolution happened. The Rock Lords are in this. That's the thing that happens. The Rock Lords just show up as like naturally occurring GoBots that have sprung out of the Earth's crust because this series couldn't get any more insane, I guess. So yeah, this is not something I would recommend to everybody. It's just like if you like purely insane sci-fi, this has kind of become your ticket. Very fun time.
Cool. I'm glad you're liking that series so much. It's really cool that something that has no right to work is working as well as it is.
Yeah.
Alrighty. My pick for the 3rd week of February is Guardians of the Galaxy #2, written by Donny Cates.
Hey.
I don't know. There's a misstep or two in here that I kind of disagree with, but there's other stuff that I thought is just like really, really funny. Like, I guess Quill and Kitty Pryde have some kind of connection that I
yeah, they were an item a little while back during Bendis' run.
Okay. All right. So like Quill and Kitty Pryde are talking over the phone because Quill's kind of spiraling out of control. And Kitty's like, "Why are you calling me and not her?" And he goes, "What her? Don't do that." "What? She killed me, Kitty. You don't just get over being dead." And Kitty's just real quick like, "God, you would hate the X-Men." Right? Like Donny Cates, between this and Cosmic Ghost Rider, Donny Cates just gets to the like kind of absurd level of weirdness that is just by its own nature had to have become the new normal that comic book worlds are. And so you get a lot of that. So this is just a very fun book to read, even though they're dealing with like a lot of crazy shit. Like, you know, Quill just walks into a room on the ship and Cosmic Ghost Rider and Groot are fighting, and he's cut off pieces of Groot that have grown into tiny Groots that are all saying "I am stab," because they're all going to go try to stab Cosmic Ghost Rider. And you just get this great fucking moment where like they have to quickly summarize what the fuck Cosmic Ghost Rider is. He's like, "You, what is your problem? Side note, who the hell are you?" "Frank Castle, Ghost Rider, Herald of Galactus." It's a whole alternate future thing. Yeah, that tracks. I don't like any of those things. Just a lot of really great, snappy dialogue like that. It gets me. I'm having fun with it. Meanwhile, the subplot of the MacGuffin of the book is Thanos is dead, but he's transferred his consciousness into someone else. No one knows exactly who. The smart money's on Gamora, so a bunch of people are off trying to kill Gamora, and Quill's like, well, we better protect her. Anyway, Cosmic Ghost Rider doesn't like the Guardians, so he leaves the team. That lasted a long time, 2 issues. Yeah. Not even a full issue, actually, I should say that. So he leaves the team, and
he's like, "I'm sorry, guys. I got a goofy event book to go be in."
Yeah. I'm still reading that. You have no idea.
Oh, dude,
I'm all over that. So like he joins up with the people going to kill Gamora, and Nebula puts them onto the track of Nova for whatever reason. Apparently, someone told me that Nova and Gamora used to be a thing. So I don't know if
I just assume like everybody in the Marvel universe has fucked everybody else in the Marvel universe at some point with how much relationship drama there's been.
I feel like we can play Stark degrees of separation. You know? I feel like Tony Stark has fucked everyone. Like
probably
Steven Sejic, he does these really funny comics, just like here's a crazy situation with superheroes having sex. And one of them was Black Widow and Tony Stark are starting to fuck, and then Black Widow like slowly morphs into a Skrull, and she's like, "And you'll see, I might have some surprises in store." And Tony Stark's still like, "Just so we still doing the sex thing or what?" And I was like, "Did you not see that I just became a Skrull?" "Yeah, but like this is like my Thursday, so I want to know if I'm getting blue balled here." Oh man. So yeah, it's just I don't know. Cosmic Ghost Rider is on the team, off the team. I'm sure he'll probably do another heel turn somewhere in here. This is a very predictable story, just based on the kind of story that it's setting up. But that doesn't matter. The thing that matters is it's fun to read. The dialogue, the character work is strong, and then it's fun, and it's just the right amount of self-aware. So I'm really enjoying it on that front. Also, you know, some pretty cool art. There's a green dragon thingy. Made me feel like I was looking at Cosmic Ghost Rider versus Green Lantern for a second there. So yeah, it's cool.
Very clean.
Yeah. What you got for us next, sir?
Manos says Tony Stark and Gamora once banged, because of course they did.
I mean, I don't even know if he's joking, and that's the sad part.
No, I've actually seen that panel. That's happened.
Marvel characters tend to have more sex.
Yeah, I don't generally think of Marvel as being a place with committed relationships.
I think you're right on that. I think, like, you know, everyone's got, like, Lois Lane and Clark Kent and, you know, Green Arrow and Black Canary.
In my mind, the only committed relationship in Marvel is Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic.
Yeah, I think you're on it. I feel like Marvel's got a lot more, you know, makeups and breakups. It's kind of crazy. Yeah. It's a really good point. All right, what do you got next for us?
All right, so my pick for the final week of this month, wow, that's month flew right by.
Yep.
Is Shazam number 3. Very fun.
Oh my God, is that Mr. Mind?
It is, but he's not actually in this issue. These covers have been very just like, here's a thing, and it has nothing to do with the story. But this is very interesting because Jeff Johns is kind of just doing the same thing here he did with Green Lantern, where he's taking this very singular thing and he's saying, no, there's a whole bunch of that. There's a lot of those. Because this is all about the Shazam family visiting the Funlands. And we're finding out that there's a bunch of different magic lands in Shazam's universe. There's actually a map of them at one point in this issue, if I can find it real quick. So yeah, there's the Magic Lands, which consists of the Fun Lands, the Game Lands, the Dark Lands, the Monster Lands, the Wild Lands, the Wizard Lands, and the Earth Lands, which is where we're all from. And it seems like this book is very much going to be about exploring all those and world building.
Okay.
And we also just get some interesting character stuff here where they're being entertained by King Kid, the king of the Fun Lands, who is basically evil Peter Pan. And he's trying to convince them to let him be a champion and like, I can show you guys around the Magic Lands. I can lead you. Together we can bring about a new golden age for all the Magic Lands because they've been sealed off for so long. But now that you're here, I know it's possible to go between the lands again. And at first, most of the kids are like, yeah, okay, that sounds cool. We don't know shit about this. You could help us. And then Mary is like, we don't know anything about this guy. Like, we can't tell him anything. And he's like, why are you being so skeptical? Why are you being so weird? And she's like, because I'm older than all of them. I have critical thinking skills. And he goes, wait, how old are you? And she's like, I'm 17. What's the big... You're almost an adult. We don't have adults here. That's you got to get out of here. Which leads to probably the best panel I've seen all month. I posted that on my Twitter.
I can't read it. It's too blurry.
It's him going, parents? You live with your parents? Willingly? And I posted that on Twitter saying, King Kid does not understand the plight of the millennial. They basically all get separated by King Kid's weird clown minions, and the next couple issues are probably going to be about them all fighting their way out of various situations to get back to each other. And we've basically completely dropped whatever was going on at Earth at this point. There's nothing about that subplot going on in this issue, but I kind of don't care because the world building is really zany and fun. So, yeah, solid issue. Johns is up to his old tricks.
Yeah, every writer seems to have a formula. Morrison likes to deconstruct. John likes to world build. Yeah, that's fair. Alrighty. My final pick for the month is Heroes in Crisis number 6. So I talked a lot about this series. I talked about issue 3 in particular being the point where I really, really got on board. And issue 6 does the exact same thing as issue 3, and I'm not sure which one is better. So issue 3 kind of like, it didn't abandon the whole murder mystery thing. That's still going on kind of in the background, but it's just an entire issue of these like little testimonials, little therapy sessions on a holodeck. And man, I really, 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 really want that Sanctuary book because the DC universe is just so big and you can do so many interesting things with all these characters that we never really hear anything about. With Narc here, Gnarrk. Have you ever heard of this character before?
I think he's a New Gods character, but I'm not sure.
I don't believe so. From the context of this, he was a caveman that got frozen in ice and then thawed out in the modern day.
Okay, so he's the sidekick from Marvin Mystery. That's good to know.
Yeah. So we get like all of his little holodeck sessions here, and like he's sitting there quoting, like all that dialogue is him quoting a Keats poem. But then like you just start to get this really interesting perspective on what would a guy's life be like if he went from hunter-gatherer to modern day where he could, sit around and watch a movie and eat some chips or something, right? And it's just this really introspective ass look at things that just blew me away. And the line that got me the most is when he's sitting there thinking about, in the old day, he'd kill a deer and maybe have to fight someone in order to be able to be the one that eats it. And so I'm just going to read the dialogue. Question is old day better than new day? Narc not sure. This was most day in old day. You want eat, he want eat. So fight. You win, you eat. He win, he eat. In old days, death always there. So narc worry about death. New day, life always there. So now, narc worry about life. And that is just like, that is the exact, it's such a funny thing because I've taken so many philosophy courses, read so much philosophy, and that's a whole fucking book. Like that is a book boiled down to 6 panels. And it's just absolutely fantastic. I was so blown away by Narc's thing here. And I really, really enjoyed it for that reason. We get more of Wally West and how, get more of an insight as to why he needed to go to Sanctuary, why he was so obsessed with his family being gone. And King makes a much better case for it than Williamson did for me, where we get very early on a recreation by Gerard's, which, that's nice, of the panel from DC Rebirth where Wally and Barry hug because, he's back. And the deconstruction is that Wally as Hope returned to the DC universe, but Wally doesn't have his family. He doesn't have his Hope. So what do you do when your Hope doesn't have Hope? Like, what the fuck does that do to a person? And that just got really, really fascinating. We get all these panels of people being so happy that Wally's back, but Wally's just in the exact same attitude. He's just so distraught over his family. And it gave me a much better insight to him here than I feel I had gotten the Williamson run. So I thought that was really, really good. And yeah, it's just all these little therapy sessions. And I thought it was really, really good. I liked it. It's great. Yeah, gonna keep reading and preaching about how good this series is and how y'all don't fucking deserve it. Oh man, what's up next on the agenda, sir?
Next is honorable mentions, and I'm going to be talking about Martian Manhunter #3, which I've been enjoying this book quite a bit. I think it's a fair bit underrated. There's just a lot of it's a very typical Martian Manhunter origin story with some new stuff added in, but there's just a lot of really interesting stuff this book is doing with the art, just the content warning, pseudo body horror and shit like that, and some really creative panel layouts. There's this scene where Jean is mourning the life of John Jones and just illustrating how he completely absorbs the guy's mind and lives through his life in order to properly pay respect to him. And you expect this to be like, oh, Jean bears his soul out to this detective who was the partner of John Jones, and she's gonna go, okay, I guess we'll work together now because you're still kind of like my partner. You're still a cool guy. And no, this ends with her literally saying, screw you. So very much subverting expectations in a cool way. And just a lot of really cool touches here and there. I enjoyed it quite a bit as a big Martian Manhunter fan.
Nice. My honorable mention is The Green Lantern #4. Let me see. I love the alliteration here. Who prevails when the Knight of Light meets the Queen of Night? That's fun. The Cosmic Vampire's beautiful daughter. And I don't know, it's Grant Morrison and Liam Sharp just doing I mean, you look at the pages.
Dang.
Yeah, Liam Sharp's doing some great artwork here, and it's Morrison just doing so much weird shit, and I love it. I don't really want to go into the plot of the issue because I'm just planning to only read these the one time until I get a chance to read through the whole thing, the whole 12-issue season as Morrison's called it. But like, there's so much weird, crazy shit in here. We got the Sun Eaters, which Morrison made really famous during All-Star Superman. And so how do a bunch of Green Lanterns defeat Sun Eaters? With one of the sentient Green Lantern sons.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Those are a thing. I'll accept that.
You do. Yeah, everyone's favorite character is the Green Lantern that's a sentient computerized sun. It's so fucking weird and trippy, and like, the joke of Mogo doesn't socialize was it's in the end, like they give the reveal that Mogo was a planet the whole time, and you got Tomar, Ray, and Aresia, and she's like, Tomar, you're kidding, and he goes, no, not at all. Someday I'll tell you about the really big Green Lanterns. And she's like, Tomar, like, she doesn't believe it. And for the longest time, it's like, yeah,
there's fucking Green Lantern Celestials.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, for the longest time, it was like, okay, no, it was a joke. Mogo is the biggest Green Lantern. No, there's a Green Lantern son. That's the coolest shit. Just crazy, kooky weirdness, and Hal Jordan gets stripped of his rank and yada yada. It's pretty typical, but I don't know. I'm having fun. And I can't wait.
How many times does that happen to Hal now?
It's funny. Spoiler alert for tomorrow's episode of Geeky Gentleman. So how many times has Hal Jordan been kicked out of the Green Lantern Corps? I want a comprehensive list of that. And I also want a comprehensive list of how many people know Bruce Wayne is Batman. It's such a fucking tired thing, but you just kind of accept that even though it's happened so many times before, it's always a big deal when it does.
Yeah.
It's just one of those fucking things in comics, I think. But what are some other ones there? How many different origins has Wonder Woman had? How many people are actually faster than the Flash?
How many times has Superman's history been changed?
Right? Yeah, just shit like that.
Not counting his history, it's just his personal history. No, how many times has Krypton's destruction changed?
Right? It was Brainiac, it was Zod, it was this, it was that, it was Rogol Zar.
Somebody just accidentally hit a button while they were drinking coffee.
Ooh.
That has to have been done at some point in like a gag comic.
Oh, I'm sure. All right, where are we going on to next, sir?
All right, so time for worst of the month, and I hate to sound like a fucking broken record, especially when it comes to this series, but Supergirl number 27.
Oh man, they got the Omega Men in there too?
Yeah, there's been an art guest starring the Omega Men for the last few issues, and it's basically just become peak 90s Marvel, I think is the best way I can talk about this. Because, like, you look at that cover, it's Supergirl wielding a giant gun because she doesn't have access to her powers. She's used up all of her solar energy in this issue, which feels really forced and contrived. Green Skin Star-Lord's got some family drama that's going on that I could not be bothered to care about.
I mean, I think it's fascinating they're bringing in the Omega Men, since that was like kind of Tom King's first big hit at DC, even though it was like the worst selling book. It was, when it was in singles, it was the worst selling comic book ever, or of all the companies, and like including indie books, the Omega Men was selling for shit. But he got to do all 12 issues, and then it's one of the best-selling collected graphic novels ever.
Through word of mouth, it became a big deal.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting, and from the art, it looked like they're using the same Omega Men from the King run.
I think they are, but like I've only read the first couple issues of that. of that series, and I don't know jack shit about the Omega Men in general, so I could not tell you.
Okay.
There's also a scene that I found really fucking offensive where they kill off an alien child in between panels as a way of giving Kara motivation to keep fighting, and it just felt really forced and awful, and like, why would you put this in here? This character does not need motivation at this stage in her life. The whole thing is she's out here trying to find truth, and she's very determined to make her own way and figure out what the hell happened to Krypton, no matter what it takes. Why are we even doing this side story with the Omega Men, distracting from what is supposed to be the main plot of the book right now? It just, everything about this feels like the writer had an idea forced on him, and he very quickly got bored, so he's just doing stupid bullshit now to entertain himself.
That's really funny that it feels like there might be more thought put into it in regards to the Omega Men, because kind of the whole thing about King's Omega Men was it was a big metaphor for not just the Iraq War and Afghanistan War, but all of U.S. involvement in the Middle East. Like, one of the Omega Men characters is an allegory for Israel. It's all really complicated. But the allegory for oil there was this chemical that could only be mined in this one particular star system that would keep planets from going Krypton.
Wow.
So it's really funny that they got Supergirl there.
I'm pretty sure that's not brought up at all in that issue, or any
hilarious.
of the issues that have happened with them so far.
That's hilarious if they didn't think to include that as like what sent her off to look for the Omega Men. Mm-hmm. That's really funny.
No, because she doesn't go to look for them. She just gets randomly dropped into a situation that they're dealing with.
I mean, it's like, you can see how easy it would be to write well. That's the frustrating part then, isn't it?
It's like watching Power Rangers, Megaforce, or Kamen Rider Ghost. It's like, there is a good story here. There's a really easy way to make a good story, but you're just being so lazy and not connecting the dots at all.
That's disappointing. All right. My worst of the month, and sometimes I feel bad doing worst of the month because something has to be by default when you set that up as a category. But it doesn't mean that it's like inherently frustrating. It doesn't mean that it's like actually actively bad. Yeah, it's just like not as good as everything else. And there's things in this book that I'm going to talk about that are certainly not good, but it's not like insulting to the character or anything like that.
Yeah, because I think you and I are both guys who, if we don't like something, we'll stop reading it relatively quick. The only reason I keep bringing up Supergirl is because I collect that book, so I have to buy it every month. Mm-hmm. And, like, I've considered buying it and just not reading it, but then I feel like I was throwing away money.
Yeah, yeah. Is the art good?
It's passable.
Well, I tried. All right, so my worst of the month is Batman Beyond, number 29. Okay, so I want to start out positive and congratulate Dan Jurgens for this entire series has been kind of the most obvious thing you could possibly do and kind of beating you over the head with how obvious the decision is. So we got distraught Terry and Bruce Wayne holding Jason Todd in the background there, right? Mm-hmm. The last issue, Matt, Terry's little brother, who's become Robin in the Batman Beyond continuity, was kidnapped by the Joker. You know where this is going. Everyone and their brother knows where this is going.
Yeah, even Terry knows where this is going.
Yeah, it doesn't go there. Yeah, they don't kill Robin. The Joker has like a whole plan, and he figures out Bruce Wayne's identity and all this stuff, and so he makes it look like he's about to kill Robin, but then just when that happens, he walks into the Batcave holding Robin. He's like, I never said it was a live video feed. And it turns into a fight between Bruce Wayne and the Joker. Old man Bruce, who's obviously, his health's always failed him, but he manages to turn the tides on the Joker and, get his gun and everything. So it looks like it's going to be a big deal, but then the Joker's like, no, I'll do it. I'll kill everyone. But then the Joker has a heart attack and dies.
Damn.
Yeah. And then that's the end of it. They're just all looking at the Joker's dead body on the floor. I'm like,
well, that happened.
Yeah, and so the reason that this is bad is because Dan Jurgens has clearly never watched Batman Beyond. Like, I was reasonably confident with that at some point in the series that Dan Jurgens just never watched Batman Beyond. Like, maybe he watched the pilot, and that was it. But, like, Return of the Joker has one of the best deaths for the Joker, period. I absolutely love that. That's not funny. That's not funny at all. Yeah. I love that death. It's iconic for the Joker. And then, I don't know, the Joker has a heart attack while fighting Bruce Wayne is very anticlimactic for a Batman Beyond book.
It feels more fan servicey than what you would actually want to happen.
Yeah, I mean, like, Terry's taking a backseat in his own book for this story arc, which is kind of annoying. Like, if I want to read a Batman book about Bruce Wayne, I've got Tom King's Batman. I've got Detective Comics. You know, I got a bunch of stuff out there that's Bruce Wayne Batman. It's Batman Beyond. I want to read about Terry McGinnis, goddammit. So
yeah, and like I can see a good story in here. You could do a story about Terry surpassing Bruce and actually saving Robin in this situation, and like proving that he is the newer, more improved Batman through doing that, but I guess not.
Yep, pretty much. I mean, it's just I don't know. I just it's boring. It's not good. Brett Booth's art is fucking awesome. I love Brett Booth's art, if nothing else. But
pretty decent.
Yeah, the story is just like, okay, well, we didn't kill Robin. Good job. I do really like there's, for all the things that's wrong with it, I really like Robin Beyond. I think that was a cool thing to do. It took forever to get there, but okay, whatever, I'll take it. I don't know. It's definitely not good, but it's not like outrageously bad or insulting or anything like that. So it's all I got. All right. Best of the month. What do you got for us?
I think you mean best cover, sir.
Oh, shit. God damn it. All right.
Did you not pick a best cover?
No, I did.
Okay. Well, my pick is going to be something that I don't think a lot of people will go for, but I just really like thematically how it perfectly represents what's going on in the issue. Invaders #2. I've been really digging this book and the kind of stuff it's going for. And the way this cover very perfectly represents the entire issue is Cap going to Atlantis to try and talk Namor down and try and get him to see reason. And the whole time his narration's just like, I hate being underwater. I'm a guy who's been in space. I've been to other universes. I've been in some of the most hostile environments to the human body you can possibly imagine. I hate being underwater because I don't feel like I'm in control. And so to do a cover that is him upside down getting choked to death by an Atlantean soldier, very nice choice. And also it's well drawn. So
cool.
I like it.
Cool. My best cover is a book I've already talked about. It's Cthulhuese, this one shot. I really do like the cover. I remember looking it up last time, and I can't remember if it is the same. Standard cover artist. Okay, yeah, the interior artist is the same one that did the cover, but like it's a very different style. I wish the book had been done in this style because I just really like how this looks, but I could see how this would take fucking forever. But also, the thing I didn't mention, it's a wraparound cover.
Oh, shit. That's cool.
It's a composition notebook with stickers on the back and like that fucking S everybody drew in school.
Nice.
I just thought that was really great. I fucking love it. It's got like the same texture as the compositions. You got like the black spine part. I thought that was so cool. Yeah.
Mano says, I think Avengers number 14, Black Widow number 1, and Unstoppable Wasp number 4 were my favorite comics of February. I didn't read most of those. I did read Unstoppable Wasp, but I wasn't able to buy one, so I wasn't able to put it on my list. It was extremely good, though.
Cool. Alrighty. I read none of those. All right. Best of the month now.
Yes, correct. Whose show is this? Winter Soldier number 3. This good shit going on here, and like from a guy who I was down on a whole lot. Like I'm one of the people who's genuinely like, yeah, Higgins' run on Power Rangers, it's all right. It's not great, but it's all right. It's kind of more what the fandom needed at the time rather than what I wanted. This is really impressive. Just some really interesting, deep stuff. Feels like he has things to say about the medium and about media in general. And highly recommend picking this book up when it comes out in trade, or if your store just has all the issues still in stock.
Cool. Alrighty. My best of the month, I was gonna pick Heroes in Crisis number 6, but I've gotten to this point where I'm just expecting that level of quality from Tom King writing. I mean, it's got Gerard's on it. It's kind of automatically the best thing if I just let it be. But because I like variety, and I was also very, very impressed with this book that I really wasn't expecting much from, Female Fury is number 1.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, just really, again, I didn't know what to expect going into this. It was just one of those things of, oh, it's out, I'll try it, we'll give it a shot, and just really, really blew my socks off. Very impressed by this book. And again, the clever ideas of like changing the art style and stuff, I really liked it. It was just really good. Good book. All right. What you got for us in the news department, sir?
All right. Moving on to the news. Where is the screen share button? There it is. Okay, so first up this month, I don't know if you noticed, Ian, but the Boondocks came back. The creator of the Boondocks has been releasing new short strips via Instagram, of all things, which is very cool. You know, I'm not a huge Boondocks guy. It's not something I've really ever gotten into, but I definitely want to get into it at some point. And I think it's very cool that it came back after all this time. And I believe the creator said it was something he did more so for fun, but he would like to do more in the future. So it's one of those kind of cool things where it's not dead. It's an on again, off again thing now.
That's great. I did a review of the one of the Boondocks collections. You know, when they'll release big collections of a comic strip. I did a review of that a number of months ago, maybe like over a year ago now. And my whole point of it was this daily newspaper strip that was commenting on the political news of the week and stuff. It really shouldn't be relevant anymore, but so much of it still was. And I was like, wow, this just really shouldn't be relevant. God, it's so crazy how irrelevant this is. And some of it still was. Like, there were comics joking about how P. Diddy and it went from Puff Daddy to P. Diddy to just Diddy and shit like that.
This new one right here is about #mute R. Kelly, which isn't something I even knew was going on.
Yeah, that's interesting. Anyway, yeah, something like that. I did that review and someone commented like, all these issues are relevant. And you'd know that if you actually pay attention to Black culture. I'm like, wait, I missed the point, man. Good job.
It's an interesting thing about YouTube commenters where I don't think they understand the concept of satire and sarcasm and things of that nature.
Yeah. But no, it is really great. The Boondocks are one of those things where I feel we need again. They got more and more irrelevant for a while there, and it's definitely needed again.
Yeah. All right. Well, moving on to DC. Tom King and several other people have been teasing various things to go along with DC's Year of Villain, including City of Bane, a summer event for the Dark Knight, which I think we all kind of knew was coming, some kind of big thing involving Bane, considering what's been going on in the book for the last little while. But just a bit of a confirmation, and hey, now we have a title for the arc. It's not anything to do with Nightfall. It is City of Bane.
I think that really works, given how much like Nightfall was kind of this anticlimactic thing where Bane's like, yes, I'm going to defeat the Bat and take over Gotham. And then he's just like, he did nothing while he was king of Gotham.
Yeah.
So if they're doing something where he's like, he's going to defeat the Bat and take over Gotham, and we're doing an arc or something called City of Bane, that's a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm. And this will be first teased in DC's Year of the Villain one-shot, which is written by Snyder, Tynion, Bendis, and drawn by Maleev, Chung, and Manipul, and is scheduled to come out on the 1st of May, and it's going to be another 25-cent one-shot. This is all the cool stuff we're doing this year thing.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's a thing. Moving on to another thing, DC Erased. Have you heard about this, Ian?
No, it's Deceased.
Ah, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. But it is a new event that is basically going to be kind of a fun alternate universe thing, which can basically be summarized as DC Zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's... That normally would be like a strong turnoff for me, just like, oh, it's a dumb, gimmicky zombie horror thing, whatever, I'm not going to read it. But it's Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor is writing this, and I've been reading through Injustice for the last couple weeks, and this is what some of the interior art looks like, and oh boy, am I excited. Tom Taylor knows how to write some good warped superhero stuff. Like, I know this plot line probably is a very strong turnoff to people, but Injustice is basically answering the ultimate question of what if Superman turned evil and tried to take over the world, but it's not shit.
Yeah.
It's really good and interesting character stuff through and through. So I'm interested to see what he'll do with a zombie book, which is generally considered to be a genre that's nothing but human nature character stuff.
Hey, just hold on 1 second. I'm gonna grab something right behind me.
Okay.
Come on, where's that? Wait at though. Sorry about that. So you just made me think of this, and this has been on my pile to talk about for Trade Talk for the longest time. But Batman Ra's al Ghul Year One is this 2-part story. I'm sure it's been collected somewhere else, but I just have the individual trades of it, or the individual issues of it. So this is funny because it's like a what if the zombie apocalypse started to happen in the DC universe. It doesn't quite get to the extent that Deceased is getting to, but this is about after Ra's al Ghul is officially dead, Batman receives a letter. He's like, congratulations, detective. You've killed me by cutting off the supply of Lazarus pits all over the world. That was a very smart and tactically exhaustive move. But I wonder if you thought about what purpose they serve here on Earth besides resurrecting me. And because Batman killed all the Lazarus pits, it started a zombie apocalypse. And so he's like, it's Ra's al Ghul kind of thumbing his nose, because now you have to make a Lazarus pit in order for the Earth not to be a fucking zombie apocalypse. So what are you gonna do, Batman? What are you gonna do? And I love how it ends, and I gotta show you. I hate to go straight to the best part of the book, and spoil it, but I just gotta show it off, just because when else am I gonna talk about it? So Batman decides, okay, fine, Ra's, you win. I'll make a Lazarus pit in the fucking Batcave. So whenever you're ready, bitch. Fucking love that story.
That's great.
Go ahead. Go on to what the next story is.
All right. Well, New York Comic Con, or not New York Comic Con, Jesus Christ. Toy Fair was this month. It happens in New York as well, so that's how I got those mixed up. But we got an announcement for a couple of licensed comics things that are going to be happening in the next couple months there. First and foremost, a lot of people are probably expecting me to talk about this. Transformers/Ghostbusters is a series that's going to be happening. It'll be written by Eric Berman, and it's basically going to be his Ghostbusters people coming in and doing a thing. And they're introducing a new Transformer that turns into the Ecto-1, which is going to have an actual toy released. That is a very heavy retool of the Combiner Wars, I believe it is, Onslaught. I know some people are probably thinking I'm going to be super excited for this and I'm going to pick it up. I honestly couldn't care less. I'm not a Ghostbusters guy at all. It's one of those things where I get why other people are so into it, but every time I watch those movies, I'm just kind of bored.
I get you. It's not my favorite thing. Oh, I wanted to go to... I remember seeing people talk about this on Twitter, and I kind of got a laugh out of it because it reminded me of a thing. I don't know why I've had such a... that reminds me of this thing that's kind of related, but doesn't have much to do with said thing. Man, this is such shit resolution, but hold on. Get it over to this window. How does one screen share? Invite people, hide participants, settings.
Thing on the side, green monitor.
Oh, it's on the side. That's how. Okay. Full screen 2. Start screen share. Okay. Me. All right. And then we get window of infinite. I love that every time. Okay. It reminded me of this thing that some fan art that someone made of what if the Tumblr became a Transformer.
Yeah.
That's it. I was talking about this a while ago. You can do there are characters that are fine and cool on their own, but they got a gimmick and it's just infinitely cooler when you give the gimmick to other characters. So I could go with Transformers just doing a whole line of crossovers and we get Transformers of iconic vehicles from different media. That'd be cool.
I'll say this toy, which it is a toy. It's not going to be much of a character outside of this miniseries. The toy does look much better than any other crossover figure they've done before because there have been whole lines of Star Wars and Marvel crossover Transformers. But a large part of that is because this is an already existing Transformers toy mold that they're sticking Ecto-1 parts onto. And honestly, the design of the robot looks pretty generic to me. And the fact that they named it Ectotron, which is the most generic name you could have possibly gone with, it's kind of this is blatant nostalgia cash grab at its finest.
Yeah. Well, Manos is in the comments saying, "Ah!" I'm assuming out of excitement. I don't know, man. I could really go for it. I think it'd be cool if Transformers did a proper crossover with famous vehicles becoming Transformers. You do Kit from Knight Rider, and you do different versions of the Batmobile and shit. It could be neat.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's definitely renditions of this I can get excited for, but this isn't one of them. I love the fact that they did Tiberius Maximus in the Star Trek/Transformers series. That was awesome. But that didn't have that wasn't done because they were all trying to market a toy they were releasing. This feels very much like both these properties are owned by IDW. They have the rights to both of them, and Hasbro is doing this toy, so we might as well do a comic too.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine. Nothing wrong with a good cash grab.
Fair enough.
All right.
Well, moving on to another blatant nostalgia cash grab, but one that I am excited for. We have details on what the next thing for Boom's Power Rangers line is going to be. At issue 40, Ryan Parrott, the man currently writing Go-Go Power Rangers, is going to be put in charge of both books for an arc called Necessary Evil, which will introduce the White Ranger and show what happened to the Mighty Morphin Rangers after the events of Shattered Grid. And I could not be more excited because White Ranger is one of the best things in the Mighty Morphin era. One of the few episodes that you can actually go back and watch and not cringe at. And Ryan Parrott's a damn good writer. He's been knocking it out of the park on Go-Go. I actually like him quite a bit more than I ever liked Higgins' run on Mighty Morphin. So to see him be given both books is very exciting to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
And there's the cover for issue 40.
Nice.
Very exciting. But let's go ahead and head back to DC for a little bit to talk about Bendis has confirmed the second season of Wonder Comics titles that will be introduced. Basically, Young Justice is going to be the only ongoing there. A lot of other books are going to have limited runs that occasionally restart at points. First and foremost, Naomi is going to restart in June. And Amethyst is going to be getting a solo book, which is kind of exciting because I know there's a lot of Amethyst fans out there, and it's one of those things that's kind of off to the side in the DC universe, and I've always wanted to sort of look into.
Okay. I haven't read a single issue of any of the Wonder Comics stuff he's been doing.
I thought you read that first issue of Young Justice.
Nope.
Really?
Nope. Thought about it, but I was like, I don't know. I'm more excited for Bendis on Superman, even though I'm a little more critical of that than I was at the beginning.
Well, hey, thanks for that transition, because speaking of Bendis on Superman, Superboy will be getting a new code name. No, not Connor Kent. John Kent is going to be getting a new code name very soon in a meeting with Connor Kent that Bendis has teased. Basically, the quote is, John and Connor will meet and work that out on one panel. Promise. Yes, there will be rebranding and some new looks. Change is a good thing. Basically, he's running major interference at this point after the backlash he's gotten for what he did to John, which he should be.
Yeah. I'm still not happy with that choice. I've been trying to just give him his due and let him tell the story he wants, but I'm still there's just those times in comics where the writer makes the choice and you just can't with it, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to be more optimistic about it, but I've definitely gotten a bit worn down by the last issue.
Yeah. Oh well.
Well, anyway,
I will say, I did like the cliffhanger of the last issue. I thought that was a cool cliffhanger.
Yeah. Well, anyway, moving on to our little bit of Marvel news for the month. Oh no, wait, this is still DC. I just saw Matt Fraction's name and I assumed Marvel. Oh god, comic contracts will do that to you. But Fraction and Greg Rucka will be writing a Superman spin-off series in 2019. Basically, the Leviathan Rising stuff is going to be put in its own book very soon. When is this actually coming out? Let me see if I can find a date real quick. Why don't we have the date here? This is weird.
Oh well.
Well, basically, Leviathan Rising Special #1 is a thing they're doing. That's the cover. Basically, what we're doing in Superman right now is a thing to lead into this thing, which will lead into Bendis' first DC event. So if you're at all excited for that, you need to get this on your poll. I'm going to give it a shot, but I'm not... It's different writers, so I don't trust it entirely.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Rucka. It's Fraction. I don't know much about Fraction. I like Rucka well enough.
Fraction's done good stuff, but he's not really made a name for himself in DC as far as I know. He's definitely more known for Marvel stuff like his Hawkeye and his Iron Man.
Yeah. Is this, how many issues did you say this was going to be?
Well, this is special #1, and CBR here has it listed as an ongoing, but I don't think that's going to be the case. It's probably going to be a mini leading into the event.
I don't know. Maybe I'll read it. Maybe I won't. I'm conflicted, I guess. If it's one issue, I'll probably pick it up because I'll be reading the event in the Superman book. But if it's like a 7-issue introduction, I'm going to be like, all right, fuck this noise. I'm done.
Yeah. All right. Well, now actually moving on to Marvel. Marvel Comics has announced there's going to be a Black Cat ongoing series very soon. This will be from writer Jed McKay and artist Travel Foreman. I've not heard of either of these people, but I'm one of those people who very much likes all characters associated with Spider-Man, but because of the way his continuity has been for the longest time, not read a lot of Spider-Man. So I'm definitely interested to give this a shot because it's also going to be spinning directly out of events in one of the most recent issues of Amazing Spider-Man, where apparently she crossed the Thieves Guild. Yeah, that's a hard word to say.
I thought you said and were about to say she crossed the streams. I'm like, wait, what? Yeah, I don't know. Like for a while, I was reading Venom, and she was like the new Kingpin, and I was like, what the fuck is going on in Spider-Man continuity right now?
Yeah, this article mentions that was briefly a thing, but that's not going on anymore.
Oh, good. Okay.
She's just back to being a thief.
Cool. Whatever. I'm not going to read it. I give no fucks about Black Cat.
All right.
I know some people love her. I know some people hate her. I give no fucks.
Well, moving on to our final bit of news, we've got some manga-related news. I always like to throw a little bit of this in if I can find it. The final 12 volumes of Beck have made a surprise English debut on Comixology. So, for those of you who are unaware, Beck is
a band from the early 2000s.
Actually, Beck is about a band, or rather a particular member of a band, and sort of his journey through the music world and becoming a musician. And it's very popular in some circles. I was actually made to watch the anime adaptation of it for an episode of Analytical Fanboys. Didn't particularly care for that, but I was told that was because I like a lot of the stuff that comes later in the manga that the anime didn't get to because it wasn't popular enough, so it didn't get renewed for a second season. So I'm excited about this. I definitely want to check it out. It's big news for a book that we just thought was never going to get a full English release because it was owned by a company, Tokyo Pop, which got debunked a few years back when they were right in the middle of releasing it. So to see Comixology kind of come out of nowhere and in sort of a similar way to Netflix saving shows, just go like, no, the rest of this is in English now. That's a nice thing that happened.
That is cool. Neat. Manos is in the comments saying, Beck is a loser, baby. So why don't you kill him? It's just too easy, man. You gotta go for it.
Indeed.
All right. Well, everyone, thanks for joining us for the latest episode of the Monthly Comic Roundup. Always fun, man. Always have a good time with these.
Very much.
Yeah. All right. Until next time, see you in a month, everybody. Bye.
Bye.